Back again, ladies and gentlemen, with the playoff predictions.
Basketball season has returned.
It's that playoff time, son. Better get your team right. Yeah. Oh, man. A lot of hate going on in this league. Toilet bowl going down. Oh, man.
No turning back now. This is what makes me. This is what I am, baby. You can hate me now. Kill me. I won't stop now.
I am.
Real niggas, I can't stop now. Brave heart.
So, anyway.
Come on.
Pause that real quick. So, I know a lot of people think there's a lot of hate going on. We're just going to have to see how these playoffs are going to shake out. We got a lot of toilet bowl action. We're going to get into that first. Everyone's vying for that first pick. We got my boy Fulcher Moose taking on Musk Daddy. Last week, Musco got the best of him. Fulcher's now lost 8 straight, trying to reverse the curse, trying to get a win this week. Joe Flacco should torch the Colts, but you got Mike Vick coming back. Gonna see how healthy he is versus Miami. Should be interesting. Jones-Drew versus Tampa Bay. They can't stop the run, and MJD's been torching everybody. Chris Johnson looking pretty good lately. Been running for like 200 yards a game, taking on New Orleans. Can't really stop the run either. John Kuhn, I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. You never know because he'll probably squeak out a touchdown here or there, but you got to do better than a second running back than John Kuhn. Probably somebody on waivers you could probably pick up, my man. Turner versus Carolina, he should torch them also. Branch versus Washington should be in line for a nice game. Brandon Lloyd versus Seattle, he should be in line for a nice game also on Monday night. Deshaun is hit or miss. Jordy's been killing it lately. Jason Witten versus Vernon Davis. I'll give the edge to Witten. Eric Decker is going to be taking on Colston. I'm going to like Colston a little bit better, but you never know with Tim Tebow. He could just lock onto Eric Decker all day for about 4 passes. That's how Tebow does it. Neil Racker's taking on Cincinnati, Dan Bailey, whatever, it's kickers. And Patriots versus Washington versus Saints versus Tennessee, kind of even there. Overall, CBS has it at 66-66 because they don't have the adjustment for Mike Vick. Then the pendulum will swing in favor of Musco, and that's the way I'm going to lean towards it. Repeat of what just happened the past week. All right, next up we have Mark, who just missed out on the playoffs, unfortunately for him. He's kind of upset about that due to tiebreakers, taking on Granis, whose team's been doing good, just hasn't scored recently. We have Fitzpatrick versus San Diego versus Matt Ryan versus Carolina. I'm going to go with Matt Ryan there. Roy Halou killed it last week, taking on Mendenhall. Going to go with Mendenhall, but it's pretty close. Brown versus Baltimore. Hate that matchup. Versus Sproles versus Tennessee. Like Sproles a little bit better. Mike Williams versus Jacksonville. Wes Walker. Wes Walker wins. Fitzgerald versus San Francisco. Tough matchup, but it still fits. Versus Reggie Wayne versus Baltimore. Fits better there. Gronkowski better than anyone except maybe Jimmy Graham, but that's even saying don't matter who you got. Granis. Vincent Jackson versus Nelson, going to go with Jackson. And Stephen Gostkowski versus Washington versus Jason Hanson versus Minnesota, that's even. We got 49ers versus Arizona and Redskins versus New England. Going to have to give the edge here to Mark. I think he'll move on to the next round of the Toilet Bowl. All right, so next up we got the playoffs. We have CBS having it, DCS 85, Unloved Peach at 79. I mean, what better matchup for the playoffs than you could have than these two teams? You know that a lot of words are going to be exchanged on the website between these two teams. So let's see how it breaks down. Stafford taking on Minnesota. Versus Drew Brees versus Tennessee. That's close, but still like the way Brees is playing a little bit better right now. Blunt versus Jacksonville. They're tough versus the run. Versus Sean Green versus KC. I like Sean Green a little bit better, especially with Freeman is out. Steven Jackson versus Seattle versus Brandon Jacobs versus Dallas. Like Jackson a little bit better, even though Seattle's good versus the run. Greg Jennings versus Oakland versus Calvin versus Minnesota. It's close, but Calvin's better. Steve Smith, Carolina versus Hakeem Nicks versus Dallas. Going to go with Nicks. Pettigrew might be suspended due to shoving the official, so I'm going to go with Gonzalez there. Stevie Johnson versus D'Angelo. Stevie Johnson is better. Where's your boy Jackie Battle? Been there, and Justin. Give it up that hot pick for him. Shot. Rob Baronis versus New Orleans versus Dave Akers. Like Akers a little bit better, and I think Ravens D is probably one of your best starts. So CBS has it at 85-79. I know that I said I liked a lot of Justin and Binder's players better than Peach, and I guess right now that's where I would have to lean, but I wouldn't be surprised if Justin and Binder lost. All right, so last matchup. CBS has my brother taking on Scott at 109-73. I've never seen a team predicted to get 109 points, so that's pretty crazy. All right, we got Cam Newton taking on Atlanta versus Eli Manning versus Dallas. Both should do well, but the way Cam's playing right now, it's crazy. Ray Rice taking on Indianapolis versus McGahee versus Chicago. Like Rice better. Foster versus Cincinnati versus Spiller versus San Diego. Foster. Roddy White taking on Victor Cruz. Going to go with Cruz here. Laurent Robinson versus Lance Moore. Both guys getting touchdowns each week, but I'm going to give the edge to Laurent Robinson. He's on the field more, even if Miles Austin does return. Antonio Gates versus Brent Selleck. I'm going to go with Antonio Gates here. Marshawn Lynch versus Beanie Wells. Lynch is on fire. And on Monday night, I don't expect it to change. Like Casey a little bit better than Bryant. And as far as defenses go, Jets versus KC, Green Bay versus Oakland. Oakland turns the ball over a lot, so even though CBS has it like that, it's tough to say. I guess I'll give it to the Jets. Tyler Palko does suck. But overall, I got to give the edge to my brother. And that pretty much concludes this week's conclusions. Predictions, excuse me. Conclusions of this week's predictions. Can't speak right now. Bungay and myself have a bye. And in the toilet bowl buys, we have Nikki's Mets getting a bye and Jimmy. It should be interesting. It's really up for grabs. Anybody could win. Should be an exciting finish. And that's pretty much it. Good luck, guys. And that's all I got to say. All right? Peace.